CoreCivic, a private prison company that operates detention facilities across the country, including one in Montana located in Shelby, is one of several corporations contracted to house immigrants for ICE. Now, CoreCivic and another major player, the GEO Group, are reporting significant revenue growth as immigration detention numbers reach record highs. Scripps News investigative reporter looks into where that money is coming from and how much these companies are profiting.
Two of the nation's biggest operators of private immigrant detention centers are announcing major revenue growth. One of those companies is GEO Group, with 6,000 beds at their immigration detention centers around the country, including Delaney Hall in New Jersey. You might recall that's where a congresswoman's clash with ICE agents led to her arrest in spring. GEO Group's third quarter update shows revenues increasing 13%, fueled by contracts with ICE, helping to give investors a banner 2025.
This represents the largest amount of new business that we have won in a single year in our company's history.
The other major operator of private jails is CoreCivic. Earlier this year, Scripps News visited a CoreCivic jail in Kansas, ramping up operations to eventually begin housing immigrants. But the company has other detention centers already open, leading to a jump in revenue of 18% last quarter. And take a look at their skyrocketing earnings since 2020, up and to the right. With the Trump administration aiming to detain thousands more immigrants, both companies see more room to bring in more money from the deportation push.
When you look at the growth that we're expecting for 2026, it's one of the fastest growth years, year over year, that we've experienced in a very long time as a company.
Still, stocks in both companies actually dropped. Investors perhaps questioning how much they can rely on ICE to grow their bottom lines in the future. Patrick Terpstra, Scripps News Group, Washington.
The Butte Superfund site has been a focal point of environmental cleanup efforts for decades. And this week, it got a visit from the head of the EPA. In an exclusive interview you'll only see here on MTN, our Jane McDonald spoke with the EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, discussing the progress, challenges, and future of the cleanup efforts.
EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin is in Butte visiting the Berkeley Pit, and he's going to give us an update on the state of affairs with the major cleanup effort happening in Butte.
I can't begin to tell you just how many conversations, meetings that we've had in D.C. talking about this Superfund site in Butte.
Conversations that eventually led to a visit from the EPA Administrator. Administrator Lee Zeldin spent the day in Butte speaking with various officials and touring different locations, including the Berkeley Pit Superfund cleanup site. MTN was invited for an exclusive interview with the Administrator.
Being able to get oriented to this map that I've seen in D.C., but it's a very different vantage point standing at a location where you're able to see so much of Butte. That probably is the most helpful piece of it, being able to orient myself to that map in a way that it doesn't do any justice without having the opportunity to visit for yourself.
But it was also the past that came to Administrator Zeldin's mind. Butte's Berkeley Pit was designated a Superfund cleanup site back in 1983, addressing decades of contamination resulting from historic mining activities in the area.
As I'm standing there, I'm thinking of all that history. There's so much remediation that has been needed and will continue to be needed.
Butte Chief Executive J.P. Gallagher noted that he was glad to see the administrator stop in Butte to view the complexity of the Superfund cleanup site.
I was able to share with him about the concerns with the change of the action level for lead levels and blood lead level and things like that. And, I don't know where that's going to go. There's a challenge to it because they're doing it kind of more at a national level rather than on site and keeping things kind of the same across the board. But that still doesn't answer the questions to the community. Are we safe?
I asked the administrator about his message to residents, and he reiterates his desire to work with the community of Butte.
We want to work as closely as possible with the local residents. We don't want there to be any daylight between us. And we want to listen to the community's concerns. We want to provide assistance and support however we can. Whatever feedback we get here today visiting Butte or in the days, weeks, months that are ahead, we just want to be great partners.
In Butte, Jane McDonald, MTN News.